Oh, really?
How's yours work?
You want to come in?
Come on in. How are you? Texas. We're gonna start. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Did everybody silence their phones? Okay. That would be a nice courteous thing to do. Absolutely. Welcome to the Happiness Club, everybody. I'm Margaret Carlson. For those that don't know. And just a few logistics that straight ahead through those doors, at the very end, to the left is the ladies' room, to the right is the men's room. The coffee and the desserts are over here. And we're in for a wonderful evening this evening. And we're going to start with, everybody good? Have you ever found yourself struggled to stay focused, constantly battling distractions and feeling like your goals are slipping out of reach? Well, you're in good company. Today, Dwyer is here to guide you through a transformative journey, drawing from years of personal experience. Greg has crafted a simple yet powerful 4-step process to help you make focus. A 4-step process to help you make focus an effortless part of your life. Get ready to unlock the magic of focus and unleash your full potential. Please help me put your hands together to welcome my friend Greg Dwyer.
Yeah!
Themselves. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
The lack of focus is why we have a lack of greatness. I wish I said that. Jerry Seinfeld said that. It's harsh, but it's true. Most of us, it's easy. It's really easy to get focused. It's not easy to stay focused. It's like New Year's Eve resolutions. We've all been there. I've been there. You write these things down, and then you look at them 6 months later, a year later. What if? What if focus could be automatic? So you didn't have to think about it. So you can focus on whatever was important to you, and you can be great. That's my promise. When you leave here tonight, you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to make focus automatic, so you don't have to think about it. And you're going to look at 4 steps, and these 4 steps are going to be so easy, you're going to be able to start tonight. Now, people who try to get focused, and the emphasis on the word try, they tend to focus on techniques or best practices like avoid caffeine or work offline. They all rely on the conscious mind. And what I learned as a magician back in the 70s is that the conscious mind is easily distracted. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Put all distractions away. Your phone, paper, note, everything. And in the comfort of your chair, you're going to need both hands, hold them up just like this. Now, it looks like some of you have done this before. Now, Simon says you're going to take the left and you're going to move it over the right, just like this. And then if you can do it, if you're able to do it, I don't want anybody to hurt themselves, is you're just going to bring your hands down just like this. And then you're going to hold it really tight. Now, if you're doing it right, the pinkies are at the top and the thumb is right here at the bottom. Now just follow me, do exactly what I'm doing. Exactly. So how did I do it? Misdirection. I wish you could have been with me. It was 1972. I was at my grandparents'. It was Christmas Day, my birthday. I turned 10. Now, I'm part of this big Italian family. I'm Irish and Italian, but there was 34 people in the room, all talking at the same time. Now, this is before cell phones. This is before computers. But there were a lot of distractions. People were smoking inside. They were drinking inside. They were talking, eating. It was a different world, 1972. All of a sudden, my uncle Victor Riley, who is a great Irishman that knows how to tell the story, who didn't need to kiss the Blarney Stone, he picks up a quarter. This is true. He picks up a coin and goes, "Fred, take a look at this." He puts it in his hand, and it's gone. I'm 10 years old, Christmas Day, my birthday. I've never seen anything like it. Uncle Vic, how in the... I couldn't believe it. How did you do that? Can't tell you, kid, it's a secret. I know I can keep a secret. So can I, kid. That's what he told me. He didn't want to tell me. That was the night that he introduced me to misdirection. Now, misdirection only has 2 tricks up her sleeve. The first one is multitasking, and the other one is information overload. Multitasking. Raise your hand if you do it. We all do. We all do multitasking. I do it, but I'm here to tell you it's not really good for us, and when we want to focus, it's certainly not good for us. Every single year in America, 400,000 people get hurt behind the wheel because they're driving the car and they're looking at the cell phone at the same time. They go to the hospital, 400,000. On average, we pick up our phones, we tap it, we swipe it, we click it 2,617 times a day. When people get to work, they waste 12 and a half hours every single week at work. Now do the math. Every single week, 52 weeks, they're wasting 12 and a half hours because they're not engaged. They're focused on other things. Now, I don't know who figured this out, but they estimate that $650 billion is wasted in America because people are not focused. And sadly, 4,000 people die every year. Driving the car, they look at the phone at the wrong time, and it is the last time. Misdirection. The other trick that she has up her sleeve is information overload. Now, this is interesting. George Miller, back in 1956, wrote a paper called The Magical Number of 7. What he said was this: there are billions of things that are going on in the room at the same time. We can't focus on everything. There's no way we can do it. We can focus on about 7 bits of information. That's it. And then our mind just wanders. We can't focus on everything. Now, to illustrate this, if you go online, you see this movie called The Monkey Business Illusion. 2 teams. They have one team over here, all dressed in black. You have another team over here, all dressed in white. They're passing the basketball. And all you have to do is one simple thing. All you have to do is focus on one thing. How many times did the black jersey team pass the basketball? Spoiler alert, it's 16. Go home and watch it. So they're passing the basketball. They stop the film and they say, how many times? People say 15, 10. You know, people count. They do the best they can. Then they said, did you notice the gorilla? 7 feet tall. Guy walks out in a gorilla suit. Can you imagine that? Walks out in a gorilla suit, beats his breast, and only 50% of the people see the gorilla. Now, I don't have a gorilla, but if I told you to look around the room for 7 things that were red, I'm sure you could look around the room right now and you could memorize 7 things that are red, right? Take a look. There's seven things that are red, right? You can see them, right? Then, if I said to you, now focus on 7 things that are blue. People have blue on. You could probably do that, right? He's wearing, my friend Mark up front's wearing blue. You can do it. But then if I said, now add 7 more things that were red, and then 7 things that are blue, you couldn't follow. There's just no way. Information overload. So they brought the group back in. They say, watch the video. Really watch. Count how many times they passed the basketball, but look for the gorilla. So they do. Everybody sees the gorilla. 100%. They feel really good about themselves. And then they say, did you notice that the curtain changed colors? It was red, now it's below. Not one person in the room noticed that the colors changed. So when I did this, I don't think anybody caught me, but I used misdirection. So I want to teach it to you. Is that okay if I teach it to you? All right. So all I ask is that you don't show it to anyone else. I want to teach it to you because I want to show you how easy it is to be misdirected. So if you're okay with this, please stand up. Please stand up. Now what you want to do is you want to do exactly what we did a few minutes ago. You want to take your 2 hands like this with your thumbs facing upward. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring your left, now don't do it yet, you're going to bring your left over the right. We're going to do it in a moment. But let me show you what I did, okay? What I did was this. While you were looking at your thumbs, right? You're looking at your thumbs, and you crossed, I asked you to go around like this, and I said, now if you're doing it right, which some of you are, some of you are, I said your pinkies will be at the top, and your thumbs will be at the bottom. And at that point, I let go. So this is what I did. Follow me. Do it with me together. Take your hands like this. Now bring it around like this and hold it really tight. Really tight. Now, this is where I made a reference to my pinkies and my thumb, where I broke the grip and I let go of it. But I don't have to because I already did it. That's misdirection. Now, before you sit down, turn to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor. You have 30 seconds. And tell them how easy it is for you to get misdirected. Do that now. You got 30 seconds. Go. So easy. Okay, time out. Everybody have a seat. Everybody have a seat. Does anybody want to share how easy it is for you in real life? Have a seat. In real life, in other words, at the bank or at the lawyer's office or in the golf course, how the phone goes off. Tell me how. Give me an example. Yes?
I'm doing something.
Yes.
Anything.
Yeah.
Pulling a carrot.
Yeah.
And the phone rings.
Yes.
And I answer the phone. And
Yes.
it's a spam.
Oh.
Maybe it's a person.
Right.
Whatever.
Yes.
And then I have to go back and I
You forgot the carrot.
so I go do something else.
Thank God it's not a cigarette.
And half an hour later, I remember the carrot.
Yeah, yeah. And the rabbit never gets any food.
No.
No. Yeah, that's a great example. Anybody else, how easy it is, and you see a pattern over and over again. Anybody? Raise your hand.
Say, I got one.
All right, go ahead.
Let's say I have a customer who I work, we'll say you, Frank Dwyer. You
Yeah.
come in, I'm talking and talking and talking. I forget all about the customers who are supposed to be helping while talking to you for something.
Right, right. Well, I do that on purpose. Anybody else? Anybody else have a hard time with misdirection? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, wait, go ahead.
Anytime I'm sitting at my computer at work and this stupid phone does some kind of jiggle.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and what do I do?
Not related to your phone, just walk upstairs.
And forget?
Why
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You moved, and so you misdirected.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you don't know why you went upstairs.
So if you're taking notes, the first point is simple. The conscious mind is easily distracted. That's the first point. Now, if you're like me, you're thinking, well, maybe, I mean, just maybe the answer is the unconscious. Maybe the answer is the unconscious. That's what I thought. But come to find out, the unconscious mind is pretty much set in its ways. So the year was 1973, December 26th, a year later. I just turned 11, and a movie just came out. Which movie? I know you're going to say Jaws, it's not Jaws.
75.
What?
Jaws was 75.
He knows. What movie came out 1973?
Exorcist.
The Exorcist. So this is what happened. This is a true story. I'm sitting with my parents in my house, my mom's house, my dad's house, in New Fairfield, Connecticut. My mom is Italian, big brown eyes, really religious. She gave money to the Pope. She gave it to Billy Graham. She covered all the bases. You know, she was really into it. Very metaphysical, but also very spiritual. All of a sudden, the movie The Exorcist comes on, and this is what my mom does. She rolls her eyes. I can still see this. She rolls her eyes, and she goes, "I can't wait." And I'm like, "Mom," now I'm 11. I go, "Mom, it's just a movie, right?" I said, "Mom, it's no big deal, right?" She goes, "Gregory?" I knew I was in trouble. She goes, "Gregory," this is what she said. I can still hear her voice. "Be careful what you expose your mind to. Be careful what you expose your mind to." Come to find out, she was right. I mean, these commercials haven't been on television for years. See if you can complete this sentence. Don't squeeze the...
Charmin.
Right. You deserve a break today at...
McDonald's.
Where's the...
Beef.
Right. So we have been programmed over and over again by what we have seen. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'd like you to look up here, focus. I'd like you to think of a number between 1 and 10. Not like 3, because everybody thinks of 3. Get that number in your mind and just think of it. Now, raise your hand. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Raise your hand if the first number that came to mind was 7. All right, keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Now, I'd like you to think of a color. If you thought of red or blue, raise your hand. All right, it's a lot of people in the room. The unconscious mind is pretty much set in the fact that it's programmed. Now, in addition to that, we condition ourselves. We condition ourselves. So not only are we getting outside programming, we're doing the conditioning. People who study this say we have about 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day. And 90% of them are the same. Let me say that again. We have 45 to 65,000 thoughts every single day, and 90% of our thoughts are repeated the next day. 50% of what we think, what we say, and what we do is a habit. Let that sink in. I don't know if you saw the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I watch it every February 2nd. Okay, campers, rise and shine. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold outside. It's Groundhog Day. Now, that's great once a year. But if you repeat it over and over again, which pretty much that's how we live our lives, that's not a great life. Now, in the movie, it ends well because he was able to break the pattern and to create something new. And I don't know if you can relate to that movie. How many of you can relate to that movie? Yeah, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you can relate to this. When I was in high school, I had big dreams of being a professional magician, a professional performer. I worked backstage for Doug Henning. I worked in magic clubs. Being on stage and being a magician was exactly what I wanted to do in my life. I was 15, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And then in 1978, my mother died, and I was in high school. My sister was 14, I was 15, 2 brothers. When you're a kid, you don't expect your mom to die, or you don't expect somebody close to you to die. It's a shock. And I was only 15 years old, and it really threw me off balance. But you just push on. You know, I finished high school, I got through high school, I wasn't going to give up on life, and I still had dreams. And then I went to college, and I wanted to really make a difference in the world and change the world. And I had, you know, all these aspirations. Got a couple degrees after my name, went to graduate school, got married, got a job. It was wonderful. But I found myself repeating patterns over and over again. I lost my job. My wife left. I know it sounds like a country music song, but it happened. And I can joke about it now, but when it happened, I was completely devastated. I was in Ohio one time, and I was looking down at the ground, and I was so shocked and so depressed. I saw some snow and some twigs and some leaves, and for about 45 seconds, I didn't know what season we were in. This is true. I didn't know if we were in winter going into spring or we were in fall going into winter. I just looked at the snow and the twigs and I thought, I didn't even know. I couldn't focus. I was so stressed out. But I knew I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to stay down. And I knew if things were going to change, I had to find somebody who would mentor and coach me. Lo and behold, I get this phone call to go out to London, England. And I was so excited, it like changed my life. And this gentleman said to me, we'd like you to speak for a sales group, doing sales and team building, and it's going to be in London, and we're going to pay your expenses. And I'm like, I'm in. It was my first international speaking event. And after it was over, there was somebody in the audience that liked what they heard, and they said, hey, we'd love to have you come to Vegas. A lot of times people see the presentation, or they go to the website, and they say, I'd like you to come to this country club, or that's how I get business. And so it's all word of mouth. So this gentleman invited me to Vegas. I go to Vegas. I give a different presentation to a different group. And that night, there's a party of executives and business people and entertainers, the movers and shakers in Vegas. And I was dying to get into that meeting, into that party. But there was one problem. I wasn't invited. I wasn't invited, but my friend Paul Draper was invited. He was bringing his girlfriend, and I said, Paul, can you get me in? He goes, yeah, I get you. So I went, and I went because I wanted to meet somebody. His name is Kenton Nepper. Now, how do I explain this guy? He's about this tall, got a long beard. The best way to explain him is he looks like the guy on The Wizard of Oz. He looks like the wizard. That's exactly what he looks like. He's a magician, he's a performer, he does backstage consulting for a lot of performers, and he's a great business guy. So I got a photo with him, got to meet him, and then I got up the courage to ask him to coach me and mentor me, because I really wanted to get my life focused, and I wanted to do great things. And I paid him a lot of money, and I moved into his house. I did, for 2 days. His wife left, I moved in, and we spent 2 days working on my act, working on my business, and most of all, working on my focus in my life. Now, I can't, there's no way in the world I can share everything with you. There's no way. But I have this card, and I'll tell you about it a little later. This is a card that has a digital footprint on it. It has a little code where you would download some books and some audios based on Kenton Nepper's work. There's no way in an hour I can share with you everything. So I'm going to share with you how you can get this later. But this is the one thing I want to share with you that changed my life. Literally changed everything. I have to give credit to Kenton because this is something that he thought of, not me. But we worked around the clock. We talked about focus, we talked about reflection. And what I learned from him in a nutshell, is that the conscious mind is easily distracted. The conscious mind can't take everything in. It's impossible. There's just too many things going on. That's why you get distracted. That's why you get distracted with the carrot. That's why Mark over here, or my friend Rich over here, I get distracted. Because the conscious mind can't focus on too many things. It's like 1, 2, 3. It's too many. It's just too many. However, the unconscious mind is what's really running the show. The unconscious mind is a lot bigger. It is a lot bigger, and it is stubborn, and it's set in its way. So if you try to push up against your unconscious mind, you're going to find yourself in a loop of Groundhog Day. just repeating patterns after patterns. People go to seminars, they go to workshops, they get all excited. Then they go home, this is what's running the show. So their life goes right back to where they were before. So, what hope is there? Really? Because think about it. If the unconscious mind is easily distracted, which it is, and I hope I showed you that it is, and you know it is, and you also know that the unconscious mind is stubborn and set in its way, the only answer is to break the pattern. To literally break the pattern so that you can create something new. So this is what Kenton taught me. If you want to be focused, it's not about techniques. It's not about clearing your desk and shutting off your cell phone. Here's the secret. This is the third point. The secret is to make focus a habit so that your success will be automatic. Automatic, without thinking about it. So if you're really interested, take a picture of this because this is what he taught me, or you can take a picture afterwards. There are 4 points to the diamond. 4 simple points that if you go home tonight and implement, this will literally change your life. Literally change your life. Okay, so the first point here is to be really clear on what's important. And that separates you from like 99% of the population. To be very clear about what's important. Now, everything can't be important. Like a million things can't be important. So you say, well, what's important this year? Or what's important this month? Or what's important this week? Or what's important tonight? Or what's important tomorrow? And the key here, please don't miss this. This is so simple, but it's profound. You have to write it down. You have to write it down. You have to take it from here and make it here. You have to commit it to paper, you know. You have to write it down. You have to spell it out. That's the first key. Write it down. And the best way to write it down is to make it one word. Because people say, well, you know, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want... You want to get it to a point where it's one word, like love, or travel, or business, or money. One word, clear, very clear. So the first point that Kenton taught me was to be very clear about what's important. The second point is over here. And this is fun. This is real fun. This is using your imagination to reprogram your unconscious mind. That's why I have a boat here that says imagination, or imagine. What you do is you use your imagination to reprogram the unconscious. Now this is the unconscious, this is the conscious. Why is this important? Well, I do a lot of coaching with people. In fact, one of my friends that's coming tonight, I coached her for a year on business. I also coached her personally. And what we worked on, most of what we worked on, is aligning the conscious and the unconscious. Because what happens is people say, I want to make a lot of money, or I want to be in love, or I want to lose weight. However, what gets in the way is the unconscious. The unconscious says, who do you think you are? You're not worthy of this. So it's in the process of using your imagination to reprogram the unconscious. That's the second point. The third point is to use auto-suggestion to condition the conscious mind. So in reverse, I'm not worthy of anything, I don't think this is going to work, I'm not good enough. That's the reverse of what I'm talking about. So you get very clear of what you want, then you get focused with your imagination, you have to see it, you write it, see it, and then you say it to yourself. Let me give you an example. Drew Carey, do you know him?
Yeah.
Okay, true story. I used to live in Cleveland. He's from Cleveland, went to high school with a friend of mine. He dreamed of being on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. So what he did was he imagined going on the show every single day in his mind. He imagined it until the day happened when he actually went to the Tonight Show, did 6 minutes, and was called over for Johnny Carson to have him sit down. It all began with a clear focus, what he thought was important in his life, and his imagination. When I was in graduate school, I saw Dave Letterman on television. I'm like, this guy's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. And I was really homesick. I was living in Ohio. And I said to myself, I want to meet Dave Letterman. I want to meet Dave Letterman. And in 1995, I was on the Dave Letterman late night with Dave Letterman, CBS. 6 million people saw me. Now, today, 6 million people wouldn't see anybody because nobody watches TV anymore. But it all began, and it was paid. I actually got paid. It all began because I had a clear intention. So let me show you how this works. I want to make sure that you get this and that it's not just theory and you can actually absorb this. So let's give you a test. Let's give you a test. This card I sell for $97. And what it has is a lot of Kenton's ebooks, audiobooks, a lot of the things that he taught me besides this, which is the magic of focus. This is worth $97. Who would like this? Good. Some of you do, some of you don't. That's okay, you haven't hurt my feelings. So I asked who would like it. Good, fine. Now those of you who said you want it and would like it, can you imagine possessing it? Can you imagine going home tonight and putting this under your pillow and thinking about me? Or can you imagine putting it under your pillow? All right? So can you imagine that? And what are you saying to yourself? Oh, I'm so glad I took action. I'm so glad I have this. I'm so glad I went to this. I got this 97. Mom, Dad, brother, whatever. Can you imagine you saying that to yourself? And then the last point, which I have left to the end, by the way, the last point is the most important point. You have to take action. You have to take action. In other words, it's not just enough to write something down and to imagine it and to say it to yourself. The fourth point is you have to do something. Make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. So let me ask you again. Who wants this? Good. Give her a hand. Yeah. Ta-da! That's it. Now, here's what you have to understand. This is going to be harsh. Are you ready for this? There's no way you can change the bell curve. If you have 100 people, there's only one that's going to do that. The rest of you are going to sit in your comfort zone. I have thought about this for 20 years, saying, what can I do? How can we change this? There is no way. Here's a bell curve. If you ask people, how many of you have written goals? You have 1,000 people in the room. You'll have 1 or 2 people that will raise their hand. How many of you know exactly what you want? How many of you focus on it? Daydream about it? How many of you talk to yourself about it? It's the minority. The rest, sadly, are just distracted. So I'm here to tell you, you can change. I changed. So let me give you another chance. Can I give you another chance? All right. Oh, good. All right. Not you, Rich. So imagine. I would like you to imagine, right? We're having fun? I want you to imagine a lemon in my hand. I want to see who's open to this. You are. I can tell you're a leader. I can tell you like to take action. What do you do for a living? What do you, okay, good. We'll talk later. What is it? Okay, yeah, that's fine. You want to tell me or no? Okay, that's fine. You'd have to kill me. Yes? Okay. I used to live in Bethesda, Maryland, and the people that I knew as neighbors, I would knock on the door and I was friendly with them. They're like, don't even go there. Don't even talk to me about that. Okay, imagine a lemon. It's kind of, what color is this? Is it
Pistachio.
Yeah, but it's close. It's close. It's lime. So we can do a lime. How many? This side of the room, imagine a lime. This side of the room, a lemon. That's fine. So imagine. Let's see how open you are to this, right? Open to focusing on one thing, putting everything else out of your mind. A lemon. No. imagine I have a lemon in my hand. And then take a knife. And I cut into the lemon. Now watch this. Tell me if you get a reaction. Some of you will and some of you won't. Ready? I'm going to put it up to my mouth. Okay, so raise your hand. Raise your hand if you experienced it.
Yeah.
I just want to see, did you? Okay, so you're going to raise your hand or no?
Oh.
Okay.
I was waiting for that.
Okay, do it one more time. I like to see who raised their hand. Okay. Now, who didn't get it? It's okay, it's fine. Who didn't get it? Like, you're just like, this was stupid, I should have stayed home. Okay, that's fine. All right, that's fine. For those of you that want more, I'm going to give you. So here I have a lemon and a knife. Okay? So this time, I'm going to see if I can get 100% or 90% of the room in. Right? So some of you need the visual. Some of you are like, I can't see a lemon. So I want to see if I can get more people involved. And that's why I just keep on doing it. All right, so here we go. Take the knife, and we're just going to cut into it. Now imagine the juices are coming down my arm. Imagine that. Coming down my arm. Smell it. Can you smell it? Some of you did earlier, but now, in a minute, actually do this with me. Put out your hand just like this, like you got a lemon. Monkey see, monkey do. And this is the reason why I have an unfair advantage. Do you realize that when you're doing this with me, that we're firing off mirror neurons, that my thoughs and your thoughts are linking here? Like you're thinking of a lemon, I'm thinking of a lemon. We're pretty much in sync right now. It's kind of scary. We'll probably bring about world peace this way. All right, ready? So go ahead and bite into it. Some of you did it, some of you didn't, but who really, really got it? You did. Anybody else? Audrey got it.
Yeah.
Okay. How much?
I was salivating.
Okay,
I could, you smell the lemon and you know. Okay.
All right, so would it be okay if we would have Audrey come on up and join us?
Yeah!
Yes! Come on up and join us. Come right around. Come right around. We have a winner. All right, stand right here. I feel like Pat Sajak, right there on the dot. All right, so tell everybody what you saw.
Well, first I could smell the lemon because I love lemon.
Yes.
And then biting into it, I'm already like that. And then the salivation.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Not to disappoint, I appreciate your imagination. This is a 4. This is a 4. But from behind, you probably, just because I said it was a knife, yeah, okay, so I feel bad that I lied to you. The other thing is, there was never a lemon. But the suggestion of a lemon and the fact, the power of the mind is very powerful. So open up that piece of paper and don't go anywhere, but open it up. Give her a round. Give her a round. All right, now, I've known her for years, but we have not worked this out. Like, she's not playing along. Like this, I was going to pick you, and I thought, well, we'll do this, but that's okay. Actually, at 8 o'clock, we're going to do the same show again, so you can come back. Don't say what it is, because it'll give it away. But do you have in your mind something that is important to you? So just say either yes or no. Let me give you some examples. Okay, so the examples could be something like, I don't know, love, family, harmony, peace, one word, but it has to be really emotional, like really connected to your heart. And one word, like you just, like in other words, if someone came up to you and said, Audrey, what's important to you? And you're like, and you just say the word, and you see the word, you're imagining it, you're clear, and you know exactly what it is. Yes or no, do you have that word? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you don't want it to be a sentence, you don't want it to be a paragraph, you want it to be one word. So I'll tell you, I've been doing this for years. It's usually money, harmony, love, travel, and sex. Sex comes up a lot. I don't know. But that's, I don't know, it's not next. But can you think of one word?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So we're going to do this first. This is the first thing we're going to do. We're going to focus on writing down, or you're going to write down the word which is important to you. And I'm going to give you this pen. And you're going to keep this quiet. Like, and that's another thing. You don't want to share this with friends and family. Like, if you're looking to travel or you're looking to do something out of the ordinary, you don't necessarily want to tell a lot of people. So it's important to print it, and write it down and keep it to yourself and maybe hide it away, right? Because if you start blabbing to people, you can ruin it. Now I'm going to turn my back. I would like you to just print that one word right there. And don't let the camera see it either. Don't let the camera see it. Don't let me see it. Don't let anybody see it. Good? All right, I'd like it face down so that I can't see it and the word print is up. And print is up and your word is, okay. So this is a true story. I don't know how you feel about these two people, but I have to tell the story. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett were at a wedding. He sat here, he sat there. True story, this is amazing. They said, Bill, write down a word that represents the secret to your success. So he goes, writes it down. Then they go over to Warren. Warren, write down a word, just one word. Not a paragraph, not a sentence, a word. Writes it down, that's it. The word was identity. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, they did not collaborate. They sat down, true story, wrote one word. Guess what the word was? Focus. So, being focused is important, but writing down the word is really, really, and then hiding it away. Have you ever been hypnotized?
Yes.
Okay, this is good. All right.
Not gonna do that.
No, well, I don't know. It's possible that you are already, because of the whole thing with the lemon, just into the. All right, so imagine you're on a boat, and the boat is going back and forth. Back. Oh, you are doing it. Yes, excellent. And then just say after me, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Now think about what you want, what you wrote down as you're thinking those thoughts. All right, good. What time is it on the boat? 6 o'clock. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. For you to hold. And we want to see how open she is to her own suggestion. So hold it in your dominant hand and imagine you're on the boat. And the boat is going back and forth, back and forth. And as it's going back and forth, you'll notice that your watch going back and forth. Now say these words. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Good. Did you notice it going back and forth? Your watch? Yes? Yes, it did. Okay. All right. My clock says 8 o'clock. I think we're a little long, but I'm going to put my watch on the floor here. If you can put your watch down on the floor right here, we'll do that just like that. All right. Pretty good. The first step, she wrote something down. Second, she's pretty good at imagination. The fact that she was on this boat at 6 o'clock, is it the morning or evening? Evening, 6 o'clock at night, she's going back and forth, the watch goes back and forth. She's very open to suggestion, and I also know that she also gets things done. Yes. Hint. It's a clue. You're not that distracted, are you? You're focused. Right? But you could use to be a little more focused, but this is helpful.
Yes.
All right, so the last step is we're going to see if her words will put her into a trance. Your words. Yeah, why not? And the way we're going to do that is really simple. Have a pack of cards, and these cards are very special. They are motivational words on cards. So these are words like love and fearlessness. They're just wonderful words that you would see maybe in a doctor's office. In fact, I'll show them to you. They're all different. I have 52 of them. Every single card is, look at that. It says trust. This one says grateful. I know you like gratefulness. So kindness, this is you as well. So every card is different. And the first thing we're going to do is give them a little shuffle. And then to see how suggestible you are when it comes. So look at me. And I'm going to show you a card in a moment. And when I show you the card in the moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. And when I snap my fingers, you're not going to be able to read the card. Like you can read that card right now, can't you? Okay, no problem. You don't need your glasses. All right, so good. So in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. You're not going to be able to read the card. And the only reason why you're not going to be able to read the card is because you're going to be confused. The numbers, the letters, the pictures, everything is just not going to make sense. What is it? You have no idea? Like,
Does it make sense?
it doesn't make
It
sense.
does not make sense at all.
Okay.
The letters don't even make
Yes or no? Does that make sense to you?
sense.
Yes. Okay. So watch my fingers. Watch my fingers. It's going to not make sense. Not make sense. For them, they're in a different place, in a different state than you are now. You are in a state of confusion. I can read this perfect. Maybe I need to go back for it. What do you mean, no? Try to
It's not,
sound,
it's not a real word.
try to sound it out.
Nidishi?
What did you see?
No, sir.
Indecision is really where you are now.
That's
What
crazy.
you wrote down, you're a little confused, but let's see if we can bring you into another state. Hold on, just hold that thought that you're thinking right now. Have you ever felt, okay, this is a good one. What are you feeling right now?
Baffled.
Okay, good. So you have a feeling of baffled. Can you go to this state?
I could.
Okay, all right.
Do I want to?
No, probably not, but could you do it for that?
Sure.
Okay, so this is what I have. This is what I have. I have anxiety. Now, I don't know about you, but I get anxious. I think most of us do. So this is probably, universal. Because, when things are out of our control, we don't understand, we get a little anxious. So I'd like you to think of a time. In fact, when I say time, look at that watch. Think of a time when
You got it.
you don't, okay, you got it, all right.
Yeah.
Now imagine there's a round circle around that pocket watch. And that round circle is spinning out of control and in anxiety. What color would that circle be?
Right.
Red, fine. All right, so I'm going to take anxiety, I'm going to put it right down here on the floor. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious do you actually feel in your body? 10 being a lot of anxiety, 1 being hardly any.
A 9.
Okay, so it's hot.
Yes.
Okay, I feel bad. Step into the circle of anxiety and tell me how you feel now. Is it still 9 or did it go up?
Well, you gave me something to think about. That was not good.
Okay, and did you go up or did you stay?
Stay.
Okay, come on, back out. All right, good. All right. So, spin around once. Spin around once. And let me ask you this, Audrey, do you smell lemons?
No.
Okay, good. So what we're doing here is we're breaking the pattern. So I'd like you to stand over here away from that anxiety.
Okay, I
Alright.
like this one.
Okay, that's fine. So just, now watch this, just by bringing her from here to here and asking her about popcorning and spinning around, we've kind of changed her emotional state. So are you still a 9?
No.
Okay, good.
I'm much better.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like really bad, 9 was over here,
Yeah.
where are you now?
I'm at about a 2.
Okay, good. This is wonderful. All right. So,
I'm good.
all right, good. So I'm
I
gonna.
don't like it.
No, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I give it a good shuffle, and this time I'm going to show you the card. I'm going to show you the card, but I don't want you to tell me what it is. Like,
Okay.
you know. So I'll give it to you, and I'll ask you to put it down on the watch. You
Okay.
don't show it to anybody.
Okay.
All right. Now, that card represents your emotional state over here,
Yeah.
which is away from over here.
It's really good.
Okay, it is good. So what color would that be?
Taint.
Nice, nice. All right, good. So red is over here. We were talking about colors earlier, about white and different colors in different
Right.
cultures. So red is not a good thing.
No.
Pink is okay. All right, so can you think of a time when you felt that emotion? Here's like you do. I'd like you to stand the way you're standing when you're feeling that way. Breathe the way you're breathing when you're breathing that way. And whatever you're saying to yourself, because you were saying to yourself something over here, you're actually putting yourself in a trance by auto-suggestion. Now I want you to do it in a positive way based on that card. Okay, good. Now step into that circle. On a scale to 1 to 10, how do you feel now?
Feel very good.
Give me a number.
10. 1 is.
1 is really bad. Well, no.
Or 10 is exceptionally wonderful.
Okay, okay, good, good.
It's
Okay.
it's very good.
It's very good. Okay, excellent. So step out. Now, I'm going to teach you something that is real magic. Is that okay? Okay, come on over here.
In the middle.
Yeah, in the middle. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to shrink down that red circle so that it was how big, how wide?
It was really big.
All right, so I would like you to shrink it down.
Okay.
Shrink it down.
Into a pin dot.
I would shrink it down into a pin dot. Remember the emotion that you had over here?
Yes.
What was it?
It was way up there, 10.
And what was the emotion that was on that card? I forget. What was
It was
it?
anxiety.
Anxiety, okay. So, stand next to the card. I'm going to have you stand next to the card. That's all right.
Okay.
Now, how do you feel just by standing next to
Well,
that
it's a
card?
pin dot now.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, so the experience that you were experiencing, the thing, I want you to imagine you're blowing it away, and so the card of anxiety is getting farther and farther and farther away from you. So far that you see, imagine it's floating. Imagine it's floating so far away from you. And it's just going. How do you feel now?
Let's see.
Okay. All right, good. Pick up the card and take a look at it.
Yes.
What is it?
It still says anxiety.
And how's it look? Okay. You need your glasses?
I can see it.
It's a lot smaller. Okay, a lot smaller.
Yeah.
That's a souvenir for you, but you gotta give it back to me. All right, come on over here. Come on over here. Stand over here. Stand over here.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what you stood next to, but that was an emotion.
Right.
It was an emotion.
Yes.
So I'd like you to feel that emotion,
Yeah.
and I'd like you to step into that emotion
Okay.
and feel whatever that was.
Mhm.
Whatever that was. And then how do you feel now?
Great.
Okay, step back. So all we're doing is taking her through this. This is imagination. She's just, the reason why I picked her is because she's very much into her imagination. If someone said, I don't imagine anything, they would never be up here, because we need somebody that is going to use their imagination. And then she's saying things to herself. So what's the difference between being over here and being over here? It's just a state of being based on her imagination. How do you feel now? So I'm going to give you this card, and I'm going to let you know,
Thank you.
thank you, that what you want can be confident, yes, that you will have health. And that's what you want. Is that true? You did. Okay. And on the boat, what time was it?
6 o'clock.
Pick up the watch. No,
Oh, this watch.
stay here. Just pick it up. Please, please pick it up.
6 o'clock.
It is 6 o'clock. Yes, it is. How did you do that? Give her a hand. Thank you. All right, so we have a few moments for questions. If you have a question that I can answer, this is yours. Let me give it to you. I'll pass this back. That says health. Give it to her. Anybody have a question on the magic of focus? I can take a few questions and then we're going to wrap it up. Yes?
The bottom part?
The bottom part is
Unconscious.
unconscious. This is conscious.
And how was that affected by the?
I don't understand the question. What's the question?
How is that affected in this demonstration?
Because if a person does not believe that what they wrote down they can have, they won't have these feelings. So that makes sense. Now, I have a course. It is a 3-month course. It's free. It's free. So if you want to take me home, all you have to do is take this code and snap a picture of it. Or if you're old school, you just go focuswithgregdwyer.com. It is completely free. I'm not selling a course. I'm not selling any information. There's nothing to buy, but it goes over this material. It goes over this material so that you can stay focused, because just hearing something once is not enough. You have to repeat it. So what I've done is I've given this away for free. Every week for 12 weeks, you'll hear me for a few minutes talk about the philosophy that I learned from Kent and Nepper. If you would like a card, I won't sell them for $97, but if you want to make a donation, I have a few. Maybe we give the money to Audrey for the Happiness Club. We buy more pens. I'd love to take your money. I don't need your money. I really don't. I want to do something nice, so if you'd like to take a card home, give me 10 bucks, 20 bucks. I'll give it to her. We can use it for the room or whatever else. Anybody else have other questions? Any other questions?
Yeah, in terms of writing down your vision, your goal, and you're saying just writing one word.
Yes.
I mean, I've heard actually be more descriptive as you can about a goal or a vision.
Well, you could. Yeah, I mean, I journal, I write all the time, I script all the time. But what I'm talking about is you want to get it down to one word so that you're really focused. Because many times people write a lot of stuff. But yeah, I think, I journal every day, I have a book, I write things down, very clear about that. You can take it, yeah, that's fine. But what I'm talking about is when you can take a sentence and make it a paragraph and then drop it down to a word. It's like, listen, people want health. They want health. They want freedom. They want love. There's only a few things that we all want, But I want to go home. No, I'm sorry. Just kidding. 6 o'clock. So what I would tell her, if she was working with me, I would say to her, Audrey, 6 o'clock every night, go through this. Because what happens is you want to take a baby step. You want to write it down, you want to look at it, you want to imagine it, you want to say something yourself. It's 6 o'clock. Every time 6 o'clock. So that helps you build the habit of thinking about it.
It doesn't have to be 6, it's your phone.
You could pick 3 o'clock, you could pick 2 o'clock. I live in Litchfield, Connecticut, and in Litchfield, Connecticut at 12 noon, there's a horn that goes off to let people know it's 12 noon. So I get on the computer at 12 noon when the horn goes off and I start prospecting. I start sending out emails and making phone calls so that I can continue to share this message with you. But it's anchored to that 12 o'clock whistle. So 12 o'clock, I'm like Pavlov's dog. I'm salivating and picking up the phone. But here's the deal. This is the focus that you saw with her. And it's that simple. Like if I walked in here and said, let me show you the whole thing, and I just said to you, who wants this card? Who can imagine going home with it? Who says to themselves, I want it, I deserve it, and who the heck is going to take action? And then my friend Mark came up and took it. I'd say class dismissed, that there's no more. It's just that the majority of us won't do it because we're so distracted. We're so distracted. Mark, yes?
I have a question about the imagery on that. It's very powerful, very deep and
Yes. Yes, tell me more. You probably know more about this than most people.
no, I'm just curious how you came up with it.
I channeled this, and I have to say that the boat did not come from me. I created this, my mentor. I have to tell you something that I've never told anyone. It's true. I've never told anybody this. It's going to be in my book. I don't tell people because they would think I was crazy. So I'm with Kenton. I never thought I'd share this. I'm sharing it because he's here. I'm with Kenton in the living room, and we're talking about the concept of reflection. As above, so below. And water. If you've ever seen pictures of the White House, you see the water reflection. And we were sitting there for 12 hours. We were working 12 hours around the clock, right? 12 hours around the clock. And Kenton was like, well, maybe you should bring out a mirror. Maybe, I said, I don't know. So we're just really tired. And we're talking about this concept of above and below and how they connect. He said, Greg, I'm really tired. I need to take a 10-minute. Okay? I said, Kenton, fine. Now, this was in Arizona. I'm not making this up. My hand to God on my mother's grave. Kenton goes upstairs. Kenton goes upstairs. I walk into Kenton's library, which was from here all the way to the back of the room. He had hundreds and hundreds of books. I love books. Right? So I walk, I'm not exaggerating, I'm not making this up. I walk to the bookshelf, and all I do is I go, and I pull out a book, and the name of the book was called The History of Magic. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. I cracked open the book. This is what was up there. There was a triangle pointing upward, there was a pointing down, and there was a connection between the two. That's what happened. And I put the book back, I came back into the kitchen, he comes down about 10 minutes later and I says, listen, we were talking about this for the last 4 hours. You went upstairs. I know you're a magician, but this is not a trick. He goes, no, what happened? I says, I walked into your library, I pulled out one book randomly, and I cracked it open. And this is what I saw. And you know what he did? That's what he didn't say a word. I would not be here if it wasn't for Kenton, but I would not be here if it wasn't for my uncle, Victor Dwyer. 1972. He says, Greg, don't be distracted. Look. I said, what, Vic? He says, I want to show you something. That was just a trick. This is the magic of focus. Thank you. Yeah.